So this is the new spring. So this is new. You don't get new from me very often because we usually repair most of our stuff. But we made an attempt with the old spring. Because it'd been damaged, well, it kept bending in about the same spot. First of all, I'm going to give away a secret here. I've undone this because when I pulled it off, that spring was so bent that it pulled this off the recoil spring. So the key is undo that and wind the recoil rope around the thing, and then you just give it 4 turns. Or you might give it 3 if you think that that's too tight. And then you thread it back through the hole, and then what you do is you make sure you hold it on there and you tie a knot in there that you can easily undo, and then you thread it through your handle and job done. And then you test it and make sure that it's retracting properly. So that's a cheats method. So you basically just hold on to the end of the string and do that. You can do it with the unit together, as long as you can get the string through that hole and get it started if you ever replace the whole cord. So yeah, and in that situation you put a knot in the cord, you thread it through the hole, you pull it out, even if you use a little pair of pliers, you pull it all through that you want and you wrap it around, and then you go 4 turns, and then you, like, once you know that spring at the back's located, then you thread it through, tie a knot in it, check that it works good, and then you go to put it back together. So I really think that this is a shit idea, but this thing must get started, I would say, 100 times a day sometimes, and we've had it for 3 years. So if I'm doing one of these every 3 years, I think that's, you know, not very bad. So that goes in there like that, and obviously there's another tab there. It wants to be a prick, it won't go on. There we go. So there's that. Now, where do we go from here? We have a washer that goes on first. It doesn't seem to be sitting right. So it's got to sit fairly low. Yeah, it is. It's sitting right. I just wasn't pushing it in far enough. So you got a washer. Wow, that's tight. Starter pause. Obviously that end goes in there. Off memory. Yep. See, that looks weird. You'd think it would go the other way, but it doesn't. That end sits in there. Oh, that's right, I remember now. And then the spring goes around that. Now, I can't remember how I did this before. I think I just pushed it down like that. It's a bit to do by hand. And I think I hooked it. I might have had the starter tabs to the external position like that. Pushed out. I don't know what you'll see in there. My hand's in the way. Yeah, that doesn't feel right. It's the same spring. It's just not sitting right. The whole thing's not sitting right. I'm not happy with it. Maybe that spring underneath was bound up. Oh, that's better. Look at that. That fits nicely. Okay, problem solved. Getting that to sit there is the hardest part, I think. I'm not sure which way up I had it. It'll either work or it won't. Yeah, there you go, like that. Get that side started. If you're strong enough with your hand, which I'm not, lock that under there. And then they should pull out when that's working fine. So that's how that's done. And so what that spring does, you see there's a bit of movement. You're not actually supposed to drop start anything like this. If they wanted you to drop start it, it wouldn't have a spring in there at all. You just pull it, and then when you're pulling it, the bloody thing takes up and pulls it over the compression. You don't need to drop start it. That big jerk, you know, like, will bend that spring. So that's fixed. It retracts perfectly fine, and we'll put it back on the blower and give it a go. Yeah, why is it not sitting on there right?
The front's not lined up.
Something's not lined up. And I ain't sure which one I didn't line up. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that I'm not sure, but I'm sure. That goes in there like that. Yeah, like that. It's just the 3 screws to hold it on. And they've got those security anti-tamper things. I don't know how this one actually even still runs, because I think this one's been straight fueled once already. And it actually stopped working on us once, it seized up once. And I idled the thing up to keep it running. And I'm just like, well, when it dies properly, we'll worry about it. We'll get a new one, or repair it. I don't know, like, this one's 3 years old, so the other one must be 6 years old. Maybe even, no, it'd have to be 6 years old. I think I spent the first 12 months of my job sweeping instead of blowing. So, long and short of the story is, I don't know how they live so long running at 50 to 1, but surprisingly it does. I think their bores must be pretty hard. I think they got a special bore. That's tight enough, I'd say. Shall we test it?
Yep.
It's got any fuel? I don't know if it's got any fuel. There's something in there. Full choke. There you go, one pull. We didn't start that earlier or anything. So, but that's how you're supposed to do it. And this one's been beaten up, so if it doesn't ever start, just watch that with these, because that's your stop button. And it's also your throttle lock too. If you push it down, it doesn't come back up, you'll be pulling and pulling. But yeah, you're supposed to just... That's all you need. You don't need a drop starter. It works very goodly.